Can we start with Lokaivani? Lokaivani. For your hands, prepare the Lord. Om Namo Vedantam. Om Namo Sitaram. Om Namo Ayayanam. Om Namo Vajayanam. Namo Loe Sarvasahunam. Eso Panchanam Karo Sarva Bhava Pranasano Mangalanam Cha Sarvesi Paramam Bhavai Mangalam Paramam Bhavai Mangalam Om Namo Hariyantanam. Om Namo Sitaram. Om Namo Ayayanam. Om Namo Vajayanam. Namo Loe Sarvasahunam. Eso Panchanam Karo Sarva Bhava Pranasano Mangalanam Cha Sarvesi Paramam Bhavai Mangalam Paramam Bhavai Mangalam. Om Namo Hariyantanam. Om Namo Sitaram. Om Namo Ayayanam. Om Namo Vajayanam. Namo Loe Sarvasahunam. Eso Panchanam Karo Sarva Bhava Pranasano Mangalanam Cha Sarvesi Paramam Bhavai Mangalam Paramam Bhavai Mangalam.
Okay, kids, let's start. Yeah.
Any kids who are left for puja can still do it.
Okay, let's start. So today is the fifth session of our event of every other Sunday. So the agenda for today is last time we asked that the kids has to follow for 2 weeks, not to eat any meat or eggs or gelatin or rooted vegetables, right? So whoever followed that for 2 weeks, we're gonna give them prize today. So we're gonna do that at the end. I have at the top. We'll do at the end. Okay. We're gonna spend a few minutes to recap what we learned last time about the non-violence, about the ahimsa. We spent 5 minutes on that, and then we're gonna continue also discussing about non-violence, ahimsa today. We can go into more depth today. We're gonna learn about different things, and then followed by lunch. So today is very, very simple, very straightforward agenda. So let's start with that. So we discussed last time, right, that ahimsa, non-violence is the foundation of our Jain Dharma. So if you see any building or anything, the foundation has to be very strong. That is, the foundation is weak and foundation get break, the whole building can collapse. Very similarly, ahimsa, non-violence in Jainism is the foundation of everything. We cannot do any Jainism activity without following non-violence or ahimsa. So that is the extreme dharma, the supreme dharma of Jainism, is ahimsa. And it's also called ahimsa paramo dharma. That means non-violence is the supreme dharma. If you do anything else, if you follow ahimsa, ahimsa is on the top. Okay, so remember that. Okay, one more announcement. If you want to take a notes of what I said, you will get the slides. Okay, so don't just copy the slides. You will get a copy of all the slides. If you want to write anything in between, you can do that. After every 2 Sundays, the third Sunday we're going to play Jeopardy. So we're gonna have some quiz in that. So the notes might be handful. You can take some notes, but don't copy the slides. You will get the copy of all the slides.
So last time as we had exam and we gave prizes and everything, after 2 or 3 sessions, this time we're going to have a Jeopardy game. And again, we'll have prizes and stuff in that. So anything on the slides, you'll get an email. But anything additional, if you want to write down what you understand, what Rahul is saying and everything, please take notes. It's going to help you in the game to win the game. All right? Thank you.
Okay, so what is the meaning of ahimsa? Right, we discussed that last time. Anyone know? Anyone can speak the definition of ahimsa? What we discussed last time? Yes.
The definition of the future is living the life without intimate any living being. It was thought, speech, and physical action.
Yes, excellent. So the definition of ahimsa is so this is the definition in Jainism of ahimsa, okay, which is living the life without injuring, without hurting any living being. So our definition is very broad. We include in our definition all the living beings. If you go to detail today, what we consider the living beings, what comes in that, right? And then not hurting them by thought, by speech, or by action. So we cannot hurt them by action. Of course, we cannot even hurt them by speaking and by thinking. And we discussed that today. And what does it mean by not hurting by speech or by thoughts? Okay. Then we learned last time the symbol of ahimsa. Everybody remembers? Anyone knows what this represents? The blue triangle in the middle. Yes. No. This blue triangle in the middle. Anyone else? I told you guys last time. No one remember? Circle or triangle? The triangle. The triangle in the middle. Anyone adult? Any adults? Okay, so the blue triangle in the middle, it represents Tirthanga Bhagwan. If you look at here, there are 24 triangles. Okay, so we have 24 Tirthankas. Right? This is triangle. So if you count these, there are 24. And it represents 24 Tirthankas because the Tirthanga Bhagwan follows the highest ahimsa in their life. Right? So that was symbol of ahimsa, which is Tirthanga Bhagwan. Okay, so we also discussed this last time briefly about there are 5 vows in Jainism that Bhagwan asked us to follow at the minimum. Right? And those 5 vows, the first vow is ahimsa. So you can think about how important ahimsa non-violence is in Jainism. It has a first spot on the 5 vows. And now we're going to talk about the living being. We discussed this briefly last time. I'm going to touch base on that and we're going to go into more detail in a few minutes. So what comes in living being? Right? The number 1 is human. So all the humans are living being. What's number 2? Yes. Huh? Yes, Earth too. But number 2 is animals. Right? What's the third one? Water. Yes, water is also part of the living being. Yes. Plants, yes. The plants is number three. Yes.
water,
Water, yes.
fire,
Fire, yes. We need two more. Yes.
air,
Earth, yes. Yes. Anyone? Yes.
oxygen,
Yes, the air, right? The Akash. So that's air. The four things. So water, fire, earth, and air. So as per Jainism, all this thing has a living being in that. Okay, water, fire, earth, and air. It also has living being. And then we discuss in the definition that uh, by action, by speech, by thought, we have to maintain the ahimsa, right? So let's discuss that in a little more detail. So we discussed this last time about maintaining the non-violence in our daily life, and that's why we discussed not to eat meat. And I want to stress this, today that this is extremely important, guys. As you grow up in the U.S., you will get so many chances. You might go in the college, and you go and work, and you will see, your friends eating meat next to you, right? In your workplace, you might have colleagues, eating meat next to you. So I want to make sure that you guys understand we cannot forget eating meat, not even touch the meat. This is extremely it's a hurting to animals. Literally kill all the animals to get the meat. So it's we cannot even think about that. It's extremely painful to animals. So I want to make sure all of you think today that your entire life you will not touch meat, you will not eat meat. Okay, Jainism, they are saying that Bhagavan said there are four things, by four ways you can go to Narak. Narak, right? But whoever does most path, they go to Narak. Huh?
I don't know.
Narak? Yes. So there are four ways someone can go to Narak. Okay, in that the first way to go to Narak is eating meat. That's a direct, the highway to Narak all the way. So, make sure we don't do that. The second thing we discuss is no eggs, right? We do not eat that as well. This also has a living being and also hurt the animals. Yes.
Because they kill babies and put them in yolk.
Yes, absolutely. So, eggs has a baby in that, right? So that's like pre-stage of the bird for chicken. So it also has living being. We do not eat that. And someone asked me a question last time that how about non-fertilizer eggs and fertilizer eggs, right? So let's talk about that. So guys, I was reading the article about that, and they are saying that you might have I don't know if if you go to a slaughterhouse, you will see that there's so many chicken farms. They put hundreds of chickens in the one cage. Okay, so think about what they go through in that. So even though some eggs might not convert into baby chicken, but to get the eggs is extremely painful for chickens. They give so much injury to chickens to get the eggs. They put all the chickens into one small cage. Then what they do is because there is no space, all the chickens fight for the space. And because they don't hurt other chickens, what they do is they literally cut their what do you call the beak?
The skin.
No, the beak, the chant beak.
Beak.
So they cut all chickens' beaks like that, so they cannot hurt other chickens, and that's how they get the eggs. So even though eggs are fertilizer, non-fertilizer, we cannot eat those things. You understand? Okay. Huh? Yeah, so what happens is, some people ask some questions that, can we eat the non-fertilizer eggs, which is egg doesn't convert into baby chicken. So even though it doesn't convert into baby chicken, but to get the eggs from the chickens is extremely painful to them. So, and this is, how they treat chickens, right? They put them in a small cage, hundreds of chicken in a small space where there is no space to move even, and they fight for the space. And because they don't hurt other chickens, because what happens if they keep the beak, they constantly fight and they, kill other chickens. Because they don't do that, they cut the beak of all the chickens because they put them on the cage. And by cutting the beak, what happens is so many chickens like they cannot drink water for the rest of their life because they don't like they cut the beak in a different way and they don't right they just cut it. So if they cut certain way, they don't even drink water, don't eat food for the rest of their life. So it's extremely painful. Okay. Okay, so and we discussed the gelatin, right? So you guys know, you might know, like there's so many candies and so many cookies nowadays has gelatin in that, and gelatin is made from the animal's body parts, yes,
Skin.
yes, from the skin, from organs, from different things. So it's same as a meat. So before you buy next time any cookies, any candies from the supermarket, make sure you read all the ingredients. And if you see gelatin in there, don't buy those things. Okay? And when you go to school, if they offer in the school candies or cookies or something, make sure you ask them before. Does it have gelatin in there? To teacher. Okay? And the last thing we discussed is the root vegetables, right? Like such as potatoes, onion, garlic, carrot. So, this thing, what happens in potatoes and all these vegetables is that they grow underground. And scientifically, what happens is, you might read in the, in the books, is that anywhere the sun doesn't go, like if there's no sunlight in any particular space, that space gets millions and billions of bacteria. Only sun can stop producing those things. So what happens in the underground, in the roots, there's no sunlight, right? So because of that, every single thing that grow underground has millions of bacteria. And what happens is, the cycle of the birth and rebirth, it constantly happens in those bacteria. That's why we cannot eat these things. So that's a scientific reason, right? And the second reason is, of course, it has, in our Jainism, there's a word comes Anantakai. These vegetables also called Anantakai. Anantakai means, for example, if you eat like, if you see, look at the mango or cucumber or something like that, it only has one G in that. Anantakai vegetables, meaning that in that vegetable, there is a one body of the bacteria, and inside that body, there are millions of bacteria leaves. So, normally in one body there will be one G, but in these kind of vegetables, those are such a bacteria, such a G, in one body there are millions of other bacteria. G means human being, any living being, any life, right? So, that's called Anantai, so that's why we cannot touch those things. So we cannot get the path of killing these millions of G's for our taste. Right? We can get so many other tasty stuff to eat. So we should ignore those things. But we can kill so many things, so many G's. Understand? Okay, so another thing I'm gonna spend 2 more minutes is on the meat again. If you I was looking at yesterday, in the US the cruelty happens to animal, it's unbelievable. And I was reading in the article that they slaughter 70 to 80% of the baby cows within 6 months. So within 6 months of their birth, they kill these many cows, the baby cows. They slaughter the mother cow after 5 years. So even though the mother cow can live up to 15 years, that's a normal life, they kill them within 5 years. Every day they inject so many drugs into these cows and animals to get more and more milk. And same thing with chickens, they give so many drugs to chickens every single day to get more eggs. It's extremely painful to those animals. And even if you look at ecology standpoint, right, from the Earth standpoint, our Earth is in our planet is suffering with all the environmental issues, right? The non-violence, the slaughtering animals, has hurt the planet so much that all the slaughterhouses they consume hundreds and millions of gallons of water, and they put so much waste into the sea and the rivers. It pollute all the waters and things like that. So it disturb the earth cycle, and so all the livestock also, they consume more than half of the water that's consumed in the US. So half of the water in the US that only goes to these livestock to the slaughterhouses. You understand? So unfortunately, we cannot stop that, right? It's not in our hand to stop that. Maybe one of you become president next. When you grow up, you might do something for that. But till that, we cannot stop that. The only thing we can do is we cannot become part of that, right? That's how we can, follow the ahimsa. That not becoming part of that, meaning not eating meat, not eating eggs, not eating gelatin. We want to make sure that because of us, there is no other animal get killed. Okay, so at least we can follow that much, right? And I was looking at the numbers and I found these numbers. Every single day in the US, these many animals get killed. 24 million chickens. Every single day, but the daily numbers, not the yearly or monthly numbers. The hogs, cattle, cows. And these numbers were like 5 years old, so there might be more than this. Okay, so we all decide we're not gonna eat meat in our entire life. No eggs, no gelatin. At least we can do that much. Okay, so now let's do a story. Okay, so I want to tell you a story about the Marasai named Metaraj. This is a story of Metaraj Muni. Okay, this Marasai might happen sometime around like Mahasi Bhagwan around that time. This Marasai happened. So what happens is this Marasai, they goes to Boche or whatever. Boche, right? Marasai don't go. They go to Jain's homes, different homes, and get the food. So once Mahasab is going to get the dochari, right? And Mahasab going to this person's house, he was a jeweler. He made the jewelry, right? So, Mahasab goes to the jeweler's home, okay, to get the dochari. Then, then what happens is this, jeweler, he is making the jewelry in his home, right? You see all the jewelry, he's making all the jewelry, right? So when Mahasab came, he got so happy. He was welcoming Mahasab, and then he said, "Okay, let me get some food." So he goes inside the kitchen to get the food from Mahasab. Okay, and what happens is all the jewelry were outside. He goes in the kitchen to get the food, right? Then what happens? The one bird comes, and the bird thinks that this golden jewelry is a food. So bird takes some jewelry in his beak, okay, and then flies away, goes in the tree. So when the guy comes from inside, Mahasab food right? And then Mahasab walks away from that. You understand? Then what happens is this guy look at outside and he says, "Oh, I'm missing some jewelry." What happens? And he thought that Mahasab might took away the jewelry. He doesn't know the Mahasab that very well. So he doesn't know that our Jain Mahasab doesn't lie, doesn't steal, doesn't do any hinsa. Right? So he thought that his Mahasab took his jewelry. So he's going after Mahasab. Okay? And then he's asking Mahasab two questions. That did you took my jewelry? Mahasab says no. Right? He didn't took jewelry. Then he asked second questions. Do you know who took my jewelry? Now Mahasab knew, right, that it was a bird who took the jewelry. But if he says that, yeah, I know that bird took the jewelry, then what happens? Yes, that guy might kill the bird. And that's a hinsa. Mahasab cannot allow to do that. So even though Mahasab kept quiet, he is not lying, he is not responding, he is not saying anything. So he says quiet. So this guy gets angry then. Then what he does is, he says, "You tell me if you kill my jewelry, you know that." And Mahasab keeps quiet because he doesn't want to get the bird get killed. And this guy gets so angry that he makes Mahasab stand in the full sun in the afternoon, and he put the leather belt. He tied the leather belt on the Mahasab's forehead, very tight. Yes.
Why does he have to do that?
Because he got so angry because Mahasab wasn't responding to him. He was asking Mahasab, you know who took my jewelry? And Mahasab doesn't want to say that because if he says that, then the bird get killed. The guy, go and get get a bird killed, right? So he's not responding anything. So he got so angry. So he put the leather belt on the forehead. Okay, in the sun, that belt got so hot. Right, with the leather. So after a couple of hours, the bell gets so warm, so hot that almost is like getting back to the skins. Masab is skin bhi badi like ukadwa mara hai. But Masab still not saying anything just to save one bird. You understand? So this is the level of ahimsa that our Mahasaya and Tirthankar Bhagwan goes through. So we are Jain. So we are following them. We cannot, think about meat and things like this. Look at this, like Mahasaya, what they did to save bird, right? And then that guy goes home, and what happens is the woodcutter comes, and woodcutter is cut the tree where there was a bird on the top. Okay, the bird was sitting on the tree, right, with the jewelry on the beak. And that time woodcutter comes and hit the tree. And because of that, what happens is the bird got scared and he opens his mouth and the jewelry falls down. Understand? So then he found the jewelry. And then he thinks, oh my god, I made a bad mistake, that I thought Mahasab took my jewelry, but it was bird. And he found the jewelry. And then he goes after the Mahasab again. And then when he reached to Mahasab second time, Mahasab almost died. Mahasab still standing there, and he died. And then केवल ज्ञान था जैसे सीधा मोक्ष में जाएगा. Yeah. So केवल ज्ञान. Anyone know what केवल ज्ञान means? Yes. Yes, that's like half. Yes. Yes, absolutely. So yeah, the Theorean means when anyone they finish all their karma, good or bad. Okay, once they finish all the karma, then they get the Keval. And we can go into detail later on, about four karma they finish, Gati karma, Tadari karma, but they finish all the karma kind of, and they get the Keval Gyan. And the Keval Gyan means they're not gonna birth again. They're gonna stop the cycle of birth and rebirth in that birth. So after Keval Gyan, when they die, then they go to moksha. Because the Atma is without any of the karma. Understand? Any questions before we go into next topic? Anyone? Okay, so so we learn about the human being, the living being, right? So we're going to more deeper into that. So now what considered living being and how we can how Bhagwan has bifurcated them into different categories, right? We're going to learn about today the five senses. Okay, all the living beings they bifurcated into five senses. Okay, it's also called Indriya, Jainism. So number one, the first sense is touch or body. Okay, there are certain genes, they only have one sense, meaning they only have body, they can only touch. That's the first one. Example of that is fire, water, earth, plants, the air, like we discussed before, those are all one sense genes. They only have one sense, which is touch. Understand? There are certain genes who has two senses. The second sense is a taste. So there are certain genes who has a first sense and also second sense. They have two senses. They also have a body and they can also taste. Okay, the examples of that is shells or termites or certain insects. So all those genes have only two senses, the body and the taste. Understand? Now the third one. There are certain genes who has three senses. The third sense is a smell. Okay, and remember one thing, whoever has third taste, the third sense, they always have first two. So it's not they only have third, they only have second. Whoever has third has also number two and number one. You understand? So the third sense is a smell. The certain gene has these three things. They can touch their body, they can taste, and they can also have smell. They also have nose. The example of those genes are ants. So you see the ant, right? The small ants and some certain type of bugs. Those things, they have three things. They have body, they have taste, and they have smell. Understand? The number four is sight or eyes. So there are certain genes, there's these four things. They have sight, smell, taste, and touch. Okay? And the examples of that is flies, some scorpions, crickets. Those things, those animals, those genes have these four senses or four indriya. You understand? And the last one, number five, is a hear. They can hear. They have ears. Okay, so there are so many. There are only few G's who has all these five things. Okay, and examples of that is a human. It's like us, right? We have all five things. Then cow, dog, these are the animals, and Dave and Naki. So last time we learned about Dave and Naki, right? A little bit. So all the Daves and Dave and Naki, they also have these five senses, or five in the ear. Huh. You understand? So guys, think about this. I want to give. This is called Jeev Vichar in Jainism. And we can go into more detail in the future session, but I want to give you some numbers. Okay? The question might come that how many number of G's that we have for each category? Okay, what number of first sense G's are there? What number of second sense G's are there? For two senses. So the first sense is endless, anand. There are endless numbers of G's who has a first sense only. And endless means like billions and billions and billions and billions. Endless. We don't even think about that. Just think about in one potato. If you take the one slice of potato, the 1 to 2 feet of potato, it has endless number of G's. Just in one piece of small potato. So think about how many G's are there in the space, in the air, in the water, in all the root vegetables. You understand? The second is asankhya. That means countless. So number 2, number 3, number 4 together, and except human, all together are asankhya. Each one. There are countless number of Jeeves in each category. Only human has a fixed number. Okay? And you know what number is that? How many humans are there as per Jainism? Anyone knows? No, all humans. In our Aditya, as per Jainism, how many humans are there? There's a fixed number for number of humans, not only on the earth only, but our entire Aditya. Yeah, as per Jainism, right? So, So there is a number for human. It's a 29 digits. Okay? If you take 29 digits of the number, that's how many humans are there. That's for Jainism. If you start from 1, 10, 100, 1000, 10,000, millions, billions, right? If you go to 29 digits, that's how many humans are there for Jainism. But even that, that's so few, right? Because if you compare to other categories, they are anand, they are like endless. So think about how fortunate we are, guys. Not only we just became the human, but we are Jain. So out of these many humans, how many are Jains? Very few. And within that, we got access to temple. There are so many Jains who has no access to temple. And within that, think about you kids. You are so lucky, you are so fortunate coming to the Pathsala. You are hearing about all these Jainism things. It's extremely, extremely, extremely rare to happen that you guys are here hearing about these Jainism things. Very few get access to these things. So if you think about how lucky we are, we get this thing. So we need to make sure we maximize the use of these things we have now. We cannot waste it, right? And by not wasting means not to do hinsa and things like that, following our Jainism. You understand? So I just wanna tell you one thing now. So you might think, right, that it's impossible not to kill, not to use the fire or water for us, right? So Bhagwan said that for all the Maharajas who take the Diksha, they compulsory follow, they don't, do hinsa of any of this. They don't cook, they don't touch water, they don't, make the buildings and houses for them. So they follow strictly everything. But for us, whoever has not taken Diksha, our Jainism, we are allowed to use the first category, which is impossible for us to survive. Right? We have to take a bath, we have to live in the house. So until we take a Diksha, we are allowed to use the one sense J, but at minimum possible. You understand? So we have to cook and we have to eat, so we have to use those things. But there is no way we can kill or we can do insult any of two senses or more J's. You understand? It's called Anugrah. For all of us, we have to follow Anugrah. In Anugrah, we have a liberty to use only first sense at the minimum possible. Understand? So this is now let me just show you the Gujarati name or the Jainism or the Shastra name for these five senses we learned. So first sense called Ikindriya. That means one indriya, one sense. Second is Beindriya. That means they have two senses. Be means two. Then Tendriya, that means three senses. Then Chavindriya, that means four senses. And then Panchindriya, that's the five senses. You understand? You have to remember this very carefully because to follow non-violence, you need to know what jivs are. If you don't know what jivs are, how can you follow ahimsa? Right? So you need to remember all these things. This is extremely important. Any questions? Okay, let's speak all together once. Okay? Let's say, I'll say the name from here. You have to say what senses they have. Okay? Ikindriya, loud. You can read, right? Loud. More louder. Come on, wake up, guys. Scream. Yes, that's better. Two, Indriya. Good. Indriya. Chavindriya. And Panchindriya. Good. You understand? This is a very fundamental of the G recharge. So you guys need to remember this by heart. You understand? So anytime you go to the beach and if you see a shell, make sure that the basically a G. It has two senses. You understand? Anytime you see N, make sure they have three senses. There's G. And by learning all this, one thing I want to highlight, one thing to remember is that think about how lucky, how fortunate we are. Like that's a one point I want to draw from here. That's a highlight of this thing. To think about how fortunate we are to become human, to become Jain, to get access to all these things. Understand? Any questions? Okay, I have a quiz. Who gonna tell me the answer for this? How many senses this has?
One.
Good job. This one? Five. Good job. This?
One.
One. Yes. It's the water. It's a one, right? This one? One. Why? It's a plant, right? This one is the fly. Four. Fly has a four senses. And fish, this one? Two. Good job. Shell. It has two senses. Okay, so now we learn about why guys. Okay, so this is what we learn about by action that we cannot hurt anyone. Right? By speech mean we cannot tell anyone to kill someone. And we cannot encourage people as well. It's equal path to do that. Even though you don't hurt, if you tell someone to hurt something for someone, that's an equal path. So we cannot do that as well. We cannot speak harsh word. Harsh word is also a kind of the hinsa by hurting someone. So we cannot speak those words. And by thoughts means not even think about to kill someone. Like we cannot think, that I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, I'm gonna do that. Even if you don't do it, if you don't speak, but if you think, you get the path. Now I'll tell you a story about that actually in 1 minute. About by thoughts, how much path you can get just by thinking, but by not doing anything, just thinking. Okay? So the story for that by thought is there's a fish called Tandulya. Okay? Here it is. This is very interesting story. So I want to tell you the importance of by thoughts. Okay? So there's a huge ocean called Swayambhu Dharma Ocean. As well as Jainism, it's a last ocean. Okay, it's a huge ocean. In that, there's huge wells. You know well, right? How big it is? In that ocean, there are huge wells, even 1,000 times more than what you see actual well here. That big wells are there. And what happens is this kind of wells, right? So those wells, eat the fish, right? For living, they eat all the small fishes. You understand? So what happens is this when they open the mouth and when they eat the small fishes, by the time they close the mouth and eat all the fish, there's so many fish goes out the mouth right? Because they might have some space, in the teeth. They might sneak out. There are, the millions of fish comes in, but few fishes goes out the mouth, right? They sneak out like that. And what happens is this Tandulya Matsya, this fish called Tandulya, it's a as big as a rice. You know rice, right? A piece of rice. How this small. There's a Tandulya Matsya, this small, that's sitting on the wells here, on the eyes. Right here, on the eyebrow. And that Tandulya Matsya sees this picture. He sees what's going on. He has a very small life. He only lives for like a few minutes, maybe a couple of hours. And he sees that this big fish takes millions of fish inside, and there's only fish goes out. Okay, and he thinks, now hear this out, okay? How small this fish is, this fish cannot hurt anyone, cannot kill anyone, but he just thinks in his mind that this well is so stupid. Okay, there are so many fishes getting snake out from his mouth. He thinks, the Tandulim was sitting here thinks that if I'm the well, I will make sure that not a single fish sneak out. Okay, he thinks that if I'm the well, I would eat all the fishes. I will close my mouth such a way that not a single fish can sneak out. You understand? So by not hurting anyone, by not killing anyone, this fish is so small, it has no capacity to do anything. It's only gonna live like few minutes. But in these few minutes, by watching this, he thinks so much like this. If die after die, it's a rule. It goes to seventh narak. Compulsory, fixed joy. There are seven naraks, right? The seventh is the worst narak. And this small fish, by not killing anyone, by not hurting anyone, just by thoughts, it goes to seventh narak. Now think about by action કેટલો પાપ લાગે તો thought થી આટલો પાપ લાગી શકતું હોય right then think about કેટલો પાપ લાગે આપણે બોલીએ અને આપણે કરીએ ત્યારે actually you understand okay let me discuss this last time right in today's world Mahasaya follows the highest ahimsa okay is there any questions no questions okay okay guys so that concludes today's lecture so so now okay listen guys so now is the fun time okay now we're gonna distribute the prizes so we said last time that whoever gonna follow the two is not eating meat gelatin eggs and kandumol will get the prize today okay so I want I want all of you who has followed this thing and got a signature of your parent those people stand up and don't lie okay if you lie who can't lie so make sure only people who followed these four things for last 2 weeks stand up
And let's be honest, everybody.
let's be honest okay guys and so now I want each kid whoever age more than 10 boys raise your hand we're going to give you prizes okay so we have special prize for the boys we have different prizes for different people okay different age so the boys age more than 10 raise your hand and you will get the prize from here and you have to show your
Hello? All right. Kids. Now 10 minutes, 10 minutes. All right. Just want to make few announcements. Today's event and this. Kids and parents, please, last 10 minutes. Today's event is sponsored by Riddhi and Shivang Kraval for Aryan's third birthday. The gifts also are sponsored by them. So please give a round of applause and Anumodana. And just for the kids, next event we have a lecture and puja over here and an outside event. Alright? So please make sure you tell your friends and everybody that next event is an outdoor event and an exciting event with exciting food and everything. So please talk to your friends and everybody.
and guys all the adults please round of applause for all the kids who followed for last 2 weeks let's everyone
And for the adults, I would request બધા parents ને કે તમે આજુબાજુ તમારા મિત્રો બધા જે બી હોય સંબંધીઓ બધાને કહો કે દેરાસરમાં આપણે શું કરીએ છીએ છોકરાઓ માટે, we need more support from everybody. If we don't have support, we cannot continue. સૌનો સાથ નહીં હોય તો આ વસ્તુ અમે આગળ કરી નહીં શકીએ. So that's the reason I really appreciate તમે બધાને વાતો અને bring everybody. Please, I understand it's an Easter weekend એટલે આ વખતે તમારામાં ઓછું છે, but when you RSVP, we appreciate if you show up. કેમ કે આજે અમારી પાસે RSVP વધારે લોકોનું આવ્યું હતું ને એટલા છોકરાઓ નથી અને એમાં ખાવાનો બગાડ થાય છે. આપણે અહીંયા જૈન ધર્મનું શીખવા આવીએ છીએ એની બદલે હવે આપણે આ ખાવાનું જે વધશે વધારે પાપ નાખ્યું. I would really appreciate whoever does RSVP, it should be a sincere RSVP, and please tell your friends and family members to support us, bring the kids. We are doing it for them and for the future of Jain Dharam. I really appreciate everybody's support. All right, thank you.
Okay, time for prize. So, boys 10 years and older, raise your hand. I'm gonna give prize from here.
And come one by one and announce your name.
And because you guys like the sport, so I got the football ball. So, yeah. Come on, Madana. Okay, come one by one. So, boys 10 years and older.
10 years and older.
Come
Please
here,
come
one by
forward
one.
and speak your name. 10 years and over. Under. 10 years and over. 10 years and over. What's your name?
Who's 10 years and over?
Who 10 years? All right, let's go.
Moksha. Rushania. Madhukandya.
Guys, you have to clap. Because you're clapping.
Puyamsha.
Okay, now all the girls 10 years and older, please come one by one.
Girls 10 years and over. Yeah, what? What?
Yes,
10 years old.
Okay,
That's
kids,
it.
look at this guy.
10 years and over, right? Ask him.
sir.
For JTNY. What do you want?
Ashisha. Priyamata. Shavanya.
Wait, clap everyone. Okay, now all the boys 10 years, 9 years or under. Any boys 9 years or under? Come. And all the girls also come one by one. All the girls 9 years and under.
Wait. You have to announce your name.
Ahan.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yes, what? Pahal what?
Chan.
Okay. What do you want?
Chan.
ઘરે જઈને બદલાય.
Shisha.
Clap for it. Okay. See, this is the beauty of Jainism, what we are learning here today. Following these things is so good. So we are so glad to see all these things. It's amazing. I'm very happy to participate in our festival. So very good. Okay, so now it's time for lunch. We're gonna go downstairs.
What one?
Sequence, okay. Okay, kids, we have 5 more minutes to go for the lunch starts. So, anyone want to talk about anything?
All right, please sit down. We still have sessions going on. We still have 10 more minutes to do. We only finished the lecture. And if I see anybody playing with the ball, I'm going to take the ball also. All right?
Okay, kids, anyone want to sing a story or someone or anything? Yeah, 5 10 more. Yes. Okay, yes.
All right.
Anyone knows any Shruti, any Shravan, please sing. Okay.
All right. He's going to sing. So please help him also sing with him.
Excellent. All right. Who's next? Next. At the back. Older kid. Anyone older kids? Guys, someone knows?
Yeah. We have heard a lot about the older kids. All of them, they know a lot of things.
Any older kids? Who else?
दादादारी मुकुमुकरानी अमीय जलती हारी रहो तारा नैनो माती जलतो दीप ने चमकी रहो शंकरा संसारी माया तारी भक्ति माँ भूली गयो तुझ मूर्ति माँ मस्त बनी ने आत्मिक आनंद आने रहो
I want to Sutro, I think we have to make it compulsory. Everyone has to say something. Let's start from the back row and then we come forward, one by one. Everybody has to do it.
Another was to very mind about child certificates
Anything. Okay, whoever wants to, I'm going to ask you to lecture next time.
lecture next time.
To see anything.
Either you're gonna see today or we lecture next time. Decide. Focus on the guy that is it's a situation Yeah, India Madhyamaya Devasarana Siddhar Purvaya Kodhara Thamara then the Shimon Vaya Aiti Twenty Sarah Sagara Namya Siddha Siddhi Icha kan sendiswa iwan perikam icam icam lalu ilawe vinaya kamna kamna pana kamna dia kamna ade kamna sate kamna kada kamna te mujhe sangala tu kamna jeme jeme ini bene te chode panchi abya barke de sangai kamna te bale ilam de ta ta kamna jeva orbe tasmi cha Tasuriganam, Payatiganam, Vesaliganam, Vesaliganam, Sarvanagaram, Nivedami, Nasiganam.
Namo Ayantaram, Namo Siddharanam, Namo Dhanam, Namo Sanam, Visavancha Makara, Sapapanasi, Namo Nakasini, Namo Namo. आनंद में सागर जीवे कमंड में मिट्टी में सागर जीवे से विरम मदम नाची है
Namayanta, Namasudha, Namayam, Namajanam, Navisawasan, Yesu Panchanyuvaka, Sarvapanasan, Namananjo, Sarisi, Paramam, Parimanam.
दर्शन 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 पापनाशन दर्शन सूर्य सोपान दर्शन मोक्षसा तसोलीकरणं पायचितकरणं त्रिसलीकरणं पायचित पावनं कमनं निकनथाय थानिकसगा
One person only. And sit properly. You are yes. Towards Bhagwan.
हे देवतारा तेरे नाम तेरे नाम करना करा हे नाम तारा मेरे माँ करुणा करा मृत मजा इतना तारे नीचे नीचे वाली माता दूर हे तीज धारा शरण माँ बालक दुनिया आश्रय उपास दोरे भव पासा माता जन्य वाले करुणा निकाय काशी विश्वनाथ जीवन मुक्ति के आए एक सुदर्शन आमोदी काली पास मार्ग में मुक्ति के आनंद सुखने दास वक्तुम गुणान गुण समूह सुशांत कातल कष्टे शमन स्वर भूपति मोक्ष बुद्धिया और पांच काला भवनम दर्शन पचकम को बात तभी की मौका पुनर्जन्म विजयम
Very nice.
Shanam Deva Deva Shanam Shanam Sarvasa दर्शनं देवदेवशं दर्शनं पापनाशं दर्शनं मोक्षसंज्ञं दर्शनं सर्वसुखानां दर्शनं मोक्षः
Nice. Very nice. Nice. Excellent.
Another Oceanian, Mississippian, Cassian, Chiana, Chandrabayan, Kuduan, Vanisitiana, Pambulia, Tamachare.
Very good.
Darshanam Deva Devian Sons, Darshanam Papanashana, Darshanam Soka Soka, Ram Jacob Abel, Sudha Soka Ram.
Very nice.
Shri Guru Gotama Samariye Manavachita Paladata.
Very good.
Gine Bhakti, Gine Bhakti, Gine Bhakti, Gine Gine Sadamestu, 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 Bhave Bhave.
Very nice.
Mangalam Bhagwan Viro, Mangalam Gautamapraku, Mangalam Suri Vasyalya, Chetan Mostu Mangalam.
Excellent. Excellent. Very nice. Okay, let's use.
Last two things. एक.
बोलो नवकार छे चौद पुरवनो सार एना महिमानो नहीं पारे
एक लाइन તમે બોલો એક લાइन કિड्स ने बोलवा दो રીતે કરો फोकस दे
समरो मंत्र बोलो नवकार छे चौद पुरवनो सार समरो मंत्र बोलो नवकार चौद पुरवनो सार एना महिमानो नहीं पार जो अर्थ अनंत अपार
एना महिमानो नहीं पारे नो अर्थ अनंत अपार
दुःखમાં સમરો દુઃખમાં સમરો સમરો દિવસ ને રાત
સુખમાં સમરો દુઃખમાં સમરો સમરો દિવસ ને રાત
જીવતા સમરો મરતા સમરો સમરો સૌ સંગાત સમરો
મંત્ર ભલો નવતારે
જીવતા સમરો મરતા સમરો સમરો દિવસ ને રાત સમરો મરતા સમરો સમરો દિવસ ને રાત જોગી जोगी समरे भोगी समरे समरे राजा रंग समरो मंत्र बलो नवकारे छे 14 પુરવનો સાર એના મહિમાનો નહીં પારે જો અર્થ અનંત પાર દેવો સમરે દાનવ સમરે સમરે સૌ નિશંગ સમરો મંત્ર બનો નવકાર એ છે 14 પુરવનો સાર હવે આપણે બધા માઇન્ડ તો ઊભા થાવ અને ખામીની સંવતી લે આ તો બધાને આવડે છે રાઈટ So loud, please. Okay, the food is here, but it's really hot. So give a couple of minutes to cool down. And on meantime, you can talk, chit chat, do social in downstairs. Not here, not here, not in the Sobara.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Not in Rock Mandap, right? So આપણે ખામેની સંવતી વે ખામેની સંવતી વે સૌએ જીવા ખમંતુ મે मिट्टी में सब हुए सु वेदा मर्चन के नहीं भवन्तु सर्व जगत परहित निर्लाभवन्तु जना दोषा प्रयान्तु नाशम् सर्वत्र सुखी भवन्तु लोका सर्वमङ्गलमाङ्गल्यं सर्वकल्याणकारणं प्रजानां सर्वधर्माणां जयं जयति शासनं बोलो बोलो सर्वेश्वर भगवान की जय आमेश्वर भगवान की जय बोलो बोलो श्री मुनीश्वर स्वामी भगवान की जय बोलो श्री शांतिनाथ भगवान की जय महावीर स्वामी भगवान की जय स्वामी भगवान की जय देव की जय
And older kids, please stay here. We need help to clean this up. So the older kids, please stay here. What do you
We are like 25.
Okay, what do you need?
Can I get a speaker?
Okay, tell them. How long is USB?